The room went quiet the second the general leaned forward and said, "Lieutenant, state your call sign." No one expected silence to be the answer, but silence was exactly what came, thick and heavy, as every officer in that war room slowly realized something was about to surface that had been buried for years. Before we dive in, if you enjoy intense military stories inspired by real events, take a second to subscribe to the channel. You're always welcome here, and stories like this only get better with you watching. Her name on the roster was Lieutenant Elena Ward. On paper, she looked ordinary enough, clean service record, quiet demeanor, the kind of officer who blended into the background. But that morning, standing alone at the end of the long steel table, she felt the weight of eyes burning into her back. Maps glowed on the screens behind her, red markers flashing over a region most of the room had sworn never to speak about again. The general had been reviewing an old classified operation, one that officially ended in catastrophic loss. An entire unit vanished during a covert extraction mission 5 years earlier. No bodies, no prisoners, just radio silence and a final, garbled transmission that ended with screaming static. The mission had become legend, and a stain on everyone who'd signed off on it. The general's gaze locked on Elena. "Your previous deployment places you in that sector," he said. "You flew reconnaissance for that task force. I want your call sign." A few officers exchanged confused looks. Pilots and analysts had call signs, sure, but hers had never been listed in the official records. Elena swallowed once. Her fingers curled into a fist at her side. She hadn't spoken that name out loud in years. "Sir," she said quietly, "my call sign is Spectre 6. The effect was instant. Chairs creaked. A colonel near the wall went pale. Someone actually whispered, "That's not possible." The general didn't blink, but his jaw tightened. He knew that call sign. Everyone in that room did, even if they pretended they didn't. Spectre 6 was the ghost voice from the last transmission, the one that cut through the chaos, calm and controlled, saying, "I have visual. Repeat, I have visual. Do not abort." The voice that was still echoing in classified archives and sleepless nights. "You're saying you were Spectre 6, the general said slowly. "Yes, sir." The room erupted in questions, but the general raised a hand. "Explain." Elena took a breath, and the past came rushing back. She told them how the mission had gone wrong before boots even hit the ground, how command intelligence was flawed, how the extraction zone had been compromised hours earlier, information buried under political pressure to proceed anyway. She told them how she'd been rerouted mid-flight, ordered to maintain Overwatch alone while the rest of the unit walked straight into a trap. "They were abandoned," she said, her voice steady but her eyes burning. "Not by the enemy, by us." She explained how, against direct orders, she'd stayed on station after being told to pull out, how she'd fed targeting data, diversion signals, and false coordinates for almost 40 minutes, long enough for part of the unit to escape, long enough for lives to be saved, long enough to paint a target on herself. When fuel ran out, she ditched the aircraft beyond the border, destroyed the onboard systems, and hiked for 2 days through hostile terrain before being recovered under a different name. The official report marked Spectre 6 as lost in action. Elena Ward was reassigned, silenced, and warned never to speak of it again. "You disobeyed direct command," one officer snapped. "I obeyed my conscience," she replied, "and I did what command was too afraid to authorize." The general stood up slowly. The room fell silent again. "Do you know why this operation is being reviewed now?" he asked. Elena shook her head. "Because the men you saved are alive," he said, "and one of them is about to testify before Congress." A sharp breath escaped her. For the first time, her composure cracked. 5 years of guilt, of wondering if it had been enough, came crashing down. The general continued, his voice firm but not unkind. They all remember the voice that refused to leave them. They asked for Spectre 6. No one spoke. Respect replaced doubt in the room like a tide coming in. The general looked at her, not as a superior now, but as someone facing a truth long overdue. This time, he said, "We're not burying it." Elena nodded, eyes shining but unbroken. She had carried the silence long enough. And now the ghost had a name again. If this story moved you, let me ask you, where are you watching from today? From which part of the country are you tuning in? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one.